And joining me now is Democratic Congresswoman-elect Debbie Dingell of Michigan. Congresswoman, thank you very much for being with us. Let's talk about, and you've been sworn in, have you not?
Yes, we have. We got sworn in on Friday.
So you are not a Congresswoman-elect. You are a Congresswoman, member of Congress.
And was on Friday,
a voting
too,
member
yes.
of Congress. So let's talk about the certification, which will be peaceful. And as Joe Biden had to as vice president and Al Gore before him, Kamala Harris will have for her the painful duty of certifying the results of the man who defeated her.
That's what you're going to see. But what you're going to see today is Democrats are not election deniers. You know, as I walk around these halls today and I look at the men and women in law enforcement that worked to keep us safe 4 years ago, 140 of them were injured, some of them were killed. Our democracy sometimes is more fragile than people realize. We did survive what happened 4 years ago, and Democrats are committed to a smooth transition of government from the president on down, and that's what you will see on the floor of the House as we have a joint session.
And whatever comedy is going to take place today, right afterwards, Mike Johnson is planning, according to Mr. Trump, to try to pass a single reconciliation bill in the coming weeks. That would address all of his priorities: border security, energy, and extension of the 2014 tax law, what he calls one big, beautiful bill. How is this going to pass without Democratic votes, or is it going to get Democratic votes?
It is highly unlikely. I mean, we haven't seen the bill, so I'm not into talking about theoretical, but I think it's going to be a real challenge. The Republican caucus is not united in the way Democrats have been so far. There will be different things in that reconciliation bill that different people want to see, but we really need to see what it looks like. Everybody says you don't even know what you're voting on. Well, I'm one of those Democrats, and I think a lot of my colleagues are people that want to see exactly what's going to be in it. But the list that he is talking about is going to be very hard to get Democrats to support. There are pieces in there that we want to support, but let's see what the bill actually looks like. And the Speaker Johnson's going to have a hard time finding a majority in his caucus on some of these issues.
Now, President Trump is also talking about pardoning many of the January 6th rioters. How do you feel about that? That's his right. I mean, presidents have sole pardoning authority.
You know, I have very mixed feelings. Well, I don't have mixed feelings. I will not forget January 6th because a lot of people died, and I was scared that day. I was scared. But what I hope is that he does not pardon anybody who attacked a law enforcement officer. You know, he says that that's important to him in other pieces of legislation. I hope he walks his talk. We'll see who it is that he's going to pardon. We'll see how many. But I hope, what I worry about is no American forget what happened at the Capitol 4 years ago on January 6th. They never take our democracy for granted. It withstood. It's strong. We're here today. We will see a peaceful transition. I respect the office of the presidency. So let's see where this goes. But I sincerely hope that any person that attacked a law enforcement officer or contributed to their murder is not somebody that's pardoned.
And very briefly, finally, Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi flew back just to be there for the roll call. Every vote was needed. The 2015 votes on the Democratic side. But how is she doing? She's had hip surgery. She's certainly not wearing her, famous high heels anymore as she's recovering.
Nancy Pelosi is a tough woman, as we all know, and proud. She got herself in there. She wouldn't, I might have allowed myself to be in a wheelchair a couple of weeks out of surgery, but she was not going to do that. She's going to do her job, and I'm very, Look, she's healing, but she is one tough lady who showed up and will keep showing up.